Well, hello everyone. My name is James Williams, Director of Programs. If you haven't joined us for the past 2 days, you've been missing out. You've just missed 22 previous sessions before this one. We're on the home straight, and if you're watching this, I can guarantee you I won't be giving you any homework after this. So the idea of the jury is very, very simple. We're going to be hitting some serious issues, but hopefully having a little bit of fun with it. But before we get to that, let's just talk about what we've been doing today here at MEF Connects Wholesale 2021. This morning, and indeed at lunchtime, early afternoon UK time, it's very much been about security. Now, security has 5 pillars. Those are confidentiality, integrity, availability, authenticity, and non-repudiation. And I can tell you all of those areas have most definitely been covered today. We've looked at efficiencies, and I would like to just give a big shout out to our 3 sponsors, Adaptive Mobile, and we've had X-Connect, and indeed Lank Telecom. Shame on me, how could I forget that, because I was hosting that session. Those 3 sponsors have made it possible for all of you to watch everything for free. And don't forget, if you are watching this recorded, a very, very warm welcome as well, because everything is indeed being recorded for later viewing from the MEF site. So let's get straight to it. Let me invite my contestants now to come to the stage, to screen for the jury. The premise is very, very simple. If you know of the Eurovision Song Contest and you're here in Europe, you will get a very, very quick idea of what we're going to be doing. I have 3 questions. All participants know the questions. They've received them in good time. Each of them has 2 minutes to answer. After each question, you, the audience, get the chance to vote for who you thought spoke best. And at the end of the day, at the end of the competition, I then tot up all the points and we have a winner. Now, yesterday's jury session, first and second place was taken by South Africa. We had Mr. Wahid Adam, founder and executive chairperson at iTouch Messaging. He took first place. And we had Kadlego Mashigo, who is business development director with the Apprentice Valley, also in South Africa. Today, we have 4 contestants. And first of all, I would like to welcome Pallavi to the show. Hey, Pallavi.
Hey, hi, James. How are you today?
I'm doing all right, thank you. I know it's fairly late with you. You're 4.5 hours ahead of me, so it's getting on for 9 p.m. So thank you very much for joining me. You got a smile on your face, and hopefully we will all have smiles come the end of this as well. I'm sure we will, because it's all about fun.
Sure.
It was all about fun.
Yeah,
and your colleague, Sadiq, did a really, really nice job on the security session. So a very warm welcome. You are Director of Global Business Development with Globe Teleservices.
That's correct. That's correct, James.
Go on. For anybody who hasn't joined us today and who doesn't know who you are, let's hear a little bit about you. How did you get into GTS in this world of telecoms, first of all?
Okay. So, hi, James. First of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity to be at the jury panel of MEF Connect. So, let me introduce myself and my company. Like, I'm Pallavi, working with GTS for last 8 years and taking care of global business development. So I'm sure everyone is aware about what GTS does, Globe Teleservices does, but just a short brief. So we are the new age communication company providing customers with smart solutions by continuously solving complex problems and stretching the boundaries of technology. So we are headquartered in Singapore, having branch offices in Hong Kong, Malaysia, India, Kenya, and USA. So we started in 2012, primarily with international voice and then with A2P messaging. From 2016, we started with anti-fraud voice solution and A2P SMS firewall. So our main focus areas are Africa, followed by Latin America and Europe. And we are a team of 200 plus people across the globe. And that's who we are, actually already working with 87 MNOs directly. And
But Pallavi, how did you get into telecoms?
So I'm an ESTC engineer. Okay, so I was always passionate about telecom. You know, it's a vast world, and that is how I landed up with started working with GTS.
That's rare. That's very, very rare, actually, to hear that. So great to have you with us, and a very warm welcome. Next up, I'd like to welcome Ehsan Ahmadi, the CEO, founder of Vox Technologies and Vox Carrier Services. Ehsan, this is your second time here on the MEF show today. So a very warm welcome back.
Hi, James. Thank you for having me again. Last time I lost, but this time maybe I win. I don't know.
You never know. You see here at MEF, sometimes you get a chance. You get a chance to come back. And here we go. It's all about the audience. It's all about the audience. You look to be in a really, really nice place. Are you in Spain by any chance?
No, I'm in Limassol now.
Oh, you're back in Cyprus. But no, very, very nice. It's not like that here, I can tell you. A very rainy, dark north of England. So a very warm welcome. Nice having you, Ehsan.
Thank you.
And next up, we have Andy Gladwin, who is head of global mobile go-to-market with Cheetah Digital. Andy, nice to have you on the show. Hi.
Good to be here, James. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, thank you. The event, I hope, has gone fine and everyone has enjoyed it. We've got, I think, a record number of attendees for a wholesale event, but I'm sure Dario will tell us more when he rounds off the event after the jury. But nice to see you here. So tell us a bit about Cheetah Digital.
So Cheetah Digital are a digital marketing company. We really have data as the core of everything we do, helping our clients to acquire it along with subscribers, to best manage it and execute upon it to enhance their relationships with their customers across the customer lifecycle. And like Ehsan, I'm also a fellow loser on a prior jury. So hopefully one of us will get some luck today.
We'll see. We'll see. You never know. Could be the new people. So anyway, and last but absolutely by no means least, we have Mr. Tomikas, Chief Connectivity Officer. As I've said before, I do like your job title name, obviously.
Thank you. Thank you.
With Messente Communications from Estonia. Uku, tell us a little bit about Messente, because you're one of our more recent joining members with MEF.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having us. And by the way, James, I have to give you props on the over here headphones. I feel a kinship with you on that. Thanks for that.
Anyway, I was given the order to do that because of a not so good connection with my computer. And I was on another session today and someone said I looked like a Cyberman. And those of you who know Doctor Who and the evil enemy of Doctor Who, the Cyberman. But hey, if you don't, sorry. But thank you. Thank you. Make me feel better.
I thought you would. So Messente essentially is, as I've said before, and as I said in the intro video, we're a messaging company, right? We're a very enterprise-focused messaging company, and we've always sort of specialized on a very sort of specific area of enterprise messaging, mainly companies for whom the alternative cost of an undelivered message is very, very high. So, think about, for example, a logistics service like, I don't know, DHL, for example, who we work with. So every single parcel that is undelivered is an immense amount of cost to them. So the actual cost of a message is sometimes 1,000 times smaller than the damage done by a message that doesn't reach the actual recipient in the end, and if they don't pick up their package from a parcel locker, for example. So we focus on those types of areas, focus on that 1% of extra connectivity, focus on those types of things, and really try to service enterprise customers as well as we can in our field. And especially in the last sort of couple of years, we've seen a tremendous amount of growth and really becoming one of the companies who also dares to give those routes that we use, and we protect ourselves with everything that we have within us to make sure that they're as clean as possible. We've started giving those routes out as well for others to use for their specific purposes, and we've seen tremendous success with that. And to broaden that reach, to broaden our sort of ability to connect multiple sort of players around the world, that's how we ended up in MEF, and that's how I ended up on this panel as well.
Fantastic. And you talked about clean traffic, and customer trust, consumer trust is exactly what MEF is all about. And I'm pleased to say all 4 of your companies have signed up to the Business SMS Code of Conduct. So thank you for doing that, all 4 of you. Now to the business at hand. We have the 3 questions. Hopefully you've done a little bit of homework. You've done a bit of research. 2 minutes each. I have the cap here. Yeah, yesterday it was Nike, today it's Gap, although I must add there are more clothing brands available, and this is not a MEF endorsement of this clothing brand, but it just happens to be a Gap cap rather than a Nike cap from yesterday. I have each of your names here on a very carefully handwritten on a piece of paper. They go into the hat, just so, and the hand enters the hat, just so, picks a name at random, And we have Mr. Ehsan. Can you see that in my scrawly writing? There we go. It's real. Ehsan, you are first up, sir. So can we please have production team? There we go. The question: are OTT services an existential threat to wholesale carriers? A really good question indeed, given what we've covered during this wholesale event. So Ehsan, your 2 minutes start now, 4:31:40 UK time.
From my point of view, no. At least on the short midterm, no. And this is what we see, that if the P2P voice or P2P SMS started to shift to OTTs, but the SMS A2P and voice A2P starting to grow. I mean, and these use cases, especially, they came from OTT side. I mean, they started first to use SMS A2P, and now they started to use voice A2P, and the rest of the enterprise market starting also to follow them on the local levels or regional levels, other smaller enterprises. So they came with this trend. They came with new use cases because, I mean, OTTs by nature, they are very innovative. So they start to build some use cases that are served by telecom services. And even if they disrupt some P2P businesses, they came with A2P on top, which I think in some region compensates the disruption, and they even bring more opportunities to the wholesalers and MNOs. And that was followed also by smaller enterprises in the local levels, and bring even more and more businesses to MNOs at the local level as well. So if you look today on how much threat OTT is representing to the wholesalers versus how much opportunity they bring on the table, I think they bring more opportunity than threats.
Perfect. You were 5 seconds within 1 minute 55. Absolutely perfect in terms of timing. So congratulations on the timing aspect. And next up, Mr. Andy Gladwin, your 2 minute starts now, 4:33:52.
Perfect, thank you. So if you talk to enterprises, they want to have a frictionless relationship with their customers. And when you look at the OTT environment, that is the new preferential, native, and habitual environment in which customers reside. Now, what has that meant for P2P? As Ehsan says, this has really damaged that market quite badly. But before going to A2P, let's look at what do wholesale carriers actually do. They provide connectivity. They offer commercial economies of scale. They remove complexity. They homogenize commercial models. They provide a single UI. They offer routing. They provide confidence and compliance. Now, all of these skills have been applied to SMS and voice for success to date. But for me, this isn't a threat, but a real opportunity to evolve. And I think that the wholesalers can use these core skills that they have and value-added services and leverage them to a new environment, whilst the legacy environment continues alongside and parallel many use cases which will continue to drive value based on the existing channels they're on. On top of which, looking further ahead, there are some unique relationships with the operators, and those will be leveraged for RCS as and when that gets to critical mass in terms of penetration and adoption. And again, this will be a critical cog for the wholesalers to provide simplicity in a complex environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and well in time. So 1.5 minutes. Excellent. So it's going to be between one of two of you. Okay, it's the shortest name on the block. Okay, your 2 minutes starts now, 4:35:35.
Thanks. Yeah, from my side, the one thing that I really like to focus on is the word existential. In order to be an existential threat, you'd have to kill it, right? But even if you look at so far back in the future, look at something like telegraphy as a form of communication, it took 150 years to kill it, right? Telephone came around in 1920. Telegraphy was still around in the 1990s. It took 70 years to kill it. And it took the combined power of voice and the combined power of the internet to change and kill telegraphy. we still use fax. I still stamp some documents out of necessity. So the fact of the matter is, it's really, really not going anywhere, especially as long as it remains as one of the default messaging solutions on every mobile phone, right? So the matter is for wholesalers to really think about is, how do we adapt? How do we get to this position where we can work with the OTTs? How can we help the clients reach and really capitalize on these services to the best of our ability and the best of their abilities? Because ultimately, in order to really kill it, you need to have to cater to everyone, and OTTs really don't have the power, at least yet, to cater to absolutely everyone in the wide world. You're still going to need somebody to help you. You still need wholesalers. You're still going to need somebody, to reach the smaller companies, to reach the smaller enterprises, to give them that personal touch and be able to support them in their increased demands and increased understanding as well. One big part of being a wholesaler is also teaching, being there to educate, being there to help, being there to provide a helping hand in terms of helping them getting going. So I don't think it's an existential threat. I agree with Andy. I think it's an opportunity. It just means that every wholesaler needs to be on top of their game and trying to capitalize on those opportunities rather than letting the OTTs dictate.
Talk about wholesale efficiencies. That was at 1:57. You almost used all your time. Very, very nice use of your time there, sir. So I don't think we need to work out and stress my little brain at the end of the day too hard as to who we have here. Pallavi, the floor is yours. 4:37:52 UK time.
Yeah, thank you, James. So are OTT services an existential threat to wholesale carriers? To some extent, OTT players are a threat to the wholesale carriers, but not existential threat for at least next 5 years. A wholesale voice market was at $100 billion back then in 2012, but now it has fallen to $50 billion as per the latest markets. But at the same time, there is a huge scope for wholesale carriers as subscribers are increasing, and so the international calling and already that OTP side of messaging. So according to me, carriers should compete and complement with OTT players for the mutual growth. So this is the opportunity for wholesale carriers to grow. So let's say in terms of competition, like how we can compete with each other by providing, the good quality or good rates. That is how we can compete, and how we can complement each other is, giving off-net calling and the PSTN connectivity. So for example, WhatsApp users can call only on WhatsApp, line users can only on line. So OTTs are driven on data. So there is a huge region which doesn't have good data or the internet bandwidth. So in my opinion, carriers should bring this revolution on bridging the gap between OTT and last mile users who don't have a data or the internet connectivity. So that is called off-net or cross connectivity, and that is where carriers should play a big role. And this is absolutely not the existential threat, at least for 5 to 10 years for now. That's what I would like to share with all of you.
I did it. That's only the second time I've been on mute by accident. I'm not doing badly this whole event, but no, congratulations. You used your time very, very efficiently there. Now, you, the audience, you will see a poll set up by the production team. It's now your opportunity to vote. And if you can have the 60 seconds countdown clock here, we've got 60 seconds to vote. Thank you very much. And panel participants, we have 60 seconds to talk about anything you want. Ehsan, we're not going to talk about flash calling. You've talked about flash calling enough today, I think.
Yes.
I haven't talked enough about SMS this whole event, but hey, I think it's been good to see that wholesale is definitely far more than about voice and SMS. But I know certainly from your four businesses, voice and SMS is obviously a very, very big part of wholesale, and it will continue to be for a good number of years to come. So that's for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I focus a lot on flash calling and voice A2P now. during the MEF discussion that I have in different panels or interviews or the last period, because it's I think is the most recent phenomena that we see in the wholesale space, which I mean, especially when we see that it was adopted by WhatsApp and Emo and many big players, we should pay some attention on that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned those OTT chat apps. I'm about to receive the result via a very well-known OTT chat app from Carol over in Brazil. Oh. The results are in. So the way Eurovision works, if there are 4 of you, the winner gets 4 points. The person who comes in 4th place gets 1. So first of all, the person with 1 point and in 4th place is... No, it's not you, Ehsan. It's Mr. Andy Gladwin. So it's Andy. Then with 2 points, the 2 of you. Any guesses? Correct. Well, so that's half of it. No, that's the wrong half. So with 2 points, it's just put your hand up all the time, Ehsan. Might as well. It's Ehsan and Uku. And with 4 points, it's Pallavi. So well done, Pallavi. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Come on, come on. Smile. Excellent. Thank you. So that's question number 1. Now the names, I could say, where did I put them? They're here. They've gone into the hat again, and I really haven't got a clue what I'm going to pick out. So it's, first of all, what am I doing here? I'm like repeating myself. It's Ehsan. You might as well keep your hand up all the time. But yes, so your 2 minutes starts at the question. Thank you very much, production team. Shame on me. So
on this
whole issue of wholesale carriers capitalizing on the increasing demand for data. Off you go, sir. 4:43:15.
This is a complex topic on the wholesale side when it comes to demand for data. I think if you mean by subscriber data, kind of mobile identity or this kind of things for customization and so on, right? That's something that is a little bit tricky because we have a lot of regulatory around MNOs, stuff like this, or data in some countries, GDPR, this and that. But there are some regions that they can capitalize where the restriction around data and data privacy is not that big. Definitely their wholesaler, they can have a play around SMS, even on some extent around the voice as well. I mean, there are also services that is working today like HLR lookup that also they can be a source of data. There is some opportunities in some regions, some less opportunities in other regions, but there is some opportunities. We don't see a lot of in the wholesale space. We don't see a lot of focus on data. I mean, we at Vox, we have some initiatives around that, but things moving very slow because of a lot of things around data privacy and so on. But there is definitely some opportunities. Still a little bit unclear how can be capitalized, but there is some opportunities. Hopefully next year we're gonna have much more clear picture and much more wholesalers to focus in to see more products, more stuff around mobile identity and anything driven by data.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Ehsan. Making good use of the time there as well. And next up, Uku. The time starts now. 2 minutes, 4:45:13.
Thank you. Yeah, for me, it seems that it's a question of what is the right track to sort of take in terms of, seeing more demand out there. If you have the money for it, if you have the capacity for it, if you have the time and the resources to, hire a legal team to go over the myriad of clauses within the GDPR and the RTS documentation that accompanies that, all of the standards that are associated by that, by all means. But realistically, most wholesale carriers don't have that type of resource to sort of put into there and try to capitalize on every opportunity that potentially presents itself within the market. So it seems to me that it's far more important to look at the various avenues that are available, especially whether it's in one or the other form of wholesaling, and in this case in data, look at the various aspects that are available around the world, see what various aspects are technically easier to do, which are harder to do, find the opportunities that are most easiest to capitalize on, and instead of immediately running into them and driving pretty much your company bankrupt trying to chase a dream that you might not be able to capitalize on, instead of that, build flexibility within the platform, build flexibility within your own internal workings and in your internal systems to be able to be there once the demand is really there, once the demand is from your own clients, from your own enterprises asking for it. You can launch a pilot project in 3 months instead of telling them, I'm going to need 2 years to build whatever is necessary to get us there. So from my aspect, or sort of my point of view, it's very important as a wholesaler to keep flexibility and ability to capitalize on opportunities in mind all the time, instead of simply just picking a field and directly running for it. Keep your eyes always on what the industry is doing and try to be there, when the time is most opportune.
Great stuff. Nice timing there, sir. Now, next up, pick one. Pallavi, your 2 minutes starts now, 4:47:20.
Thanks, James. I have a little different opinion about this question than the Ehsan and Uku. So as we all are facing pandemics since start of this 2020, the demand for data has increased exponentially. With the work from home culture globally, there is a need to reach the data to the last mile or the niche markets. So similar to voice and messaging, carriers should look into the data wholesaling now, because there are big giant companies who have created the data backbone by investing a lot in infrastructure. Now the 5G era is coming in, so carriers should help these big companies to resell their data bandwidth to the sub-regions and reach out to the last mile subscribers. Carriers should be more focused on providing HD voice and web RTC, because that is a quality driven. The way carrier business has taken shape in the last 15 years, like international voice and the messaging. Similar way, we should capitalize on data reselling from now onwards, because that is the next era, like data is the next era. And this is the way carriers should reshape and reform the business model to capitalize over the data part. That's what my opinion is, James.
Thank you, Pallavi. And as you're seeing here, some of the questions are kept very nice and general, so your answers can go in one or two or even a third way. So there we go. And I think, Andrew, we know who's here now.
Not even going to use the cap.
Sorry.
There we go.
You missed it.
So if content is king, then data is queen. And why do companies obsess about data now? Data is the backbone for driving contextual and relevant engagement with customers. And it provides the who, the what, the when, the how, and even the what next with AI and propensity models. And this can form itself in terms of the content being personalized, the choice of send times optimization, the channels that are used, the audience it's sent to. The companies that best capture, manage, and execute upon their data will have a competitive advantage in their field. So how is this environment changing? Well, many of the former big assets of data are being handcuffed through GDPR, CCPA, through a more data-aware customer after Cambridge Analytica, iOS 15 changing their policies. So how can wholesalers take a bit of this pie that is ever expanding and a demand that's growing with less assets to provide an offering? Firstly, it's to use the relationships with the operators for HR lookups and other forms of assets for authentication, verification, understanding people's ages. And this is something that's unique to wholesalers that isn't readily available to enterprises today. The second thing is to present data in a more meaningful and consumable fashion. Don't provide error codes, don't provide Excel sheets, provide dashboards, a UI, speak in English, not numbers and codes. Make it easy for people to understand what does the data mean. The final thing that I think can really help unlock the value of data that wholesalers have to enterprises is to look at ROI. let's see, what is the currency that matters to a customer? Is it customer satisfaction, NPS? Is it dollars? Saving? Is it around driving revenue? And how can you look at clicks, delivery, latency? What happens if a message is delayed? What happens if someone clicks through? What happens if someone joins a loyalty scheme by following through and redeeming a code? All of these things around making it consumable, using further assets, and making it digestible in terms of ROI and speaking to what matters to customers, I think is a way to advance and enhance the way wholesalers work with enterprises and relinquish those assets.
Fantastic, bang on time. And you did mention customer experience, but that is coming up next in the third question. Production teams, we have 60 seconds on the clock, and for you viewers, the polling question will be up now, and your votes will be open. There does seem to be a rather large fan club for one of the participants here. Yeah, chaps, where are your fan clubs? Yeah,
I was going to say, I think I've ruled myself out on that one. It's also the ominous font of 24 series you've got going on. Jack Bauer's going to jump out any second.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. You know, I need to lock my windows.
It's not ominous.
You've given us all the opportunity to plug on our companies. Do you want to talk about the next MEF event?
I do. Well, do you know, I will shamelessly talk about that. Next big MEF event is MEF Connects Omnichannel, which is going to be in person in London, but streamed live online. Probably looking for about 200 people live in person in London, November the 30th and December the 1st. It's all omnichannel. It's all about the wonderful world of messaging. And so many of you will be interested in that. And I look forward to seeing you in person in London. More on that later. Thank you, Andy. Nice having the tables turned. But anyway, I await the message. I have to look surprised, don't I? Pallavi, what do you know?
No, I just laughed on your reaction.
Oh, okay. So based on that one, remember, fourth place is 1 point. The winner gets 4 points. So with 1 point, I don't see the hand going up, but it is Ehsan. Sorry, Ehsan. 1 point, sir. With 2 points, it's Andy Gladwin. And with 3 points, any guesses? Yeah. And 4 points, it's Pallavi. I seem to remember a previous session with another person from India, and whose name just happens to begin with an A and end with a G, who his poetic renditions rather wiped the floor, I must say, with absolutely everyone else. So yeah, it seems to be Team India this evening so far, but let's see. It can all change. It can all change. So I don't want Ehsan. By the law of averages, I just know that randomly I will pick this out. Oh, go on. Do you know what? I'll just do it. I was going to say I won't have Ehsan first. If I pick Ehsan, Ehsan is not going first. And it isn't Ehsan. So there we go. So what role? So the question is, to what extent do wholesale carriers, I missed a couple of words here, it's have a role to play in delivering great end user customer experience, but you get the idea. And Woko, you're up first. 2 minutes, 4:54:50. Thank you very much.
Awesome, thanks. So absolutely, they have a role to play. For us, it's even a more pertinent question. As I mentioned, we work a lot with enterprise clients, and for us, it's so important to really, wherever we're working with wholesalers or we are a wholesaler in the situation, some of the most key aspects of those relationships are always timeliness, transparency, and expectation management, right? And these are the things that wholesalers are always the most important part of creating, right? Let's say that we're working with a local partner in some region that we don't know ourselves, and we do really require somebody to teach us and help us. And that knowledge, that transparency that they create for us is the fundamental of the sort of delivering a great customer experience for our customers down the line. And vice versa, when we are the experts in the market, when we give that information, when we create that clarity, it's that clarity that reaches the customer, and it's the trust and loyalty of the customer that is built on those foundations. You know, the same thing comes with speed. The more timely you are, the better it is. If you have a chain of 10 companies delivering that one service, if each of them takes 2 business days to deliver an answer, you know, your client will be waiting for a month. If you're timely, if you're transparent, if you're clear, that is what creates a great customer experience for wholesalers themselves, you know, being in that value chain, but then ultimately at the very tail end for those clients, for those end customers who really feel every single step of that chain as it was sort of the person talking to them, because, you know, it's like Tetris, mistakes piles up and success doesn't last, you know, and that's how I feel.
Fantastic. Well, good. Thank you very much. And I was actually talking to one of our members, the founder and CEO of one of our members last week, and he is an absolute Tetris fiend. In fact, he's won a global competition on Nintendo for Tetris. It's amazing. Our members, the skills of our members. But anyway, off I go. Ehsan, it's got rather dark with you in Cyprus, but you're a couple of hours ahead.
Yes.
It's you next.
Maybe I need to go and turn the lights.
Turn the lights on. Come on. Oh, he just did turn the lights off. But there we are.
Okay, I need to stay then.
You're back. What happened there? I thought you had turned the lights off. Come on. You're in it. You're in it. Come on.
It's me now, or
it's you. It absolutely is you now.
So I don't have time to go turn that. So you know, I mean, I'm very pragmatic and very practical when it comes to all these topics. So when it comes now to the services that wholesale is offering to the OTTs or to enterprises, and ultimately to MNOs, and ultimately to their subscribers or their customers. I mean, the final customers, because wholesalers most of the time they don't deal with the final customers directly. Today, what we can offer, or wholesaler can offer, is security, quality, and speed. These are what we can play with in general today. I mean, we don't have a lot of space to play. These are the main 3 things that we can play. Offer them the rights, the secure channel for enterprises, for the customers to can communicate fast. I mean, delivery of SMSs, voice, whatever, very fast, and high quality. I mean, when it comes to voice, especially the quality of voice and so on. And what else we can do, I mean, recently is bundling these type of services, like with multi-factor authentication and so on, bundling voice with SMS in order to increase the conversion, increase the delivery, and ultimately the customer experience. I think these are the areas that wholesalers today can contribute to the customer experience on the end of the day.
Great. Thank you very much. I don't know where I'm looking. I'm looking somewhere. We have Pallavi. You're up.
Hi, James. Yeah.
4:59:30. Go for it.
Okay. So nowadays, TDM connectivity has become obsolete. So the wholesale carriers play a pivotal role in the entire communication system. As you rightly said, customer satisfaction is the paramount factor because the entire business is driven by the customers. So to add to this point, like what is our thought is by eliminating the gray terminations, MNOs can provide the best-in-class quality of services to the end users. So MNOs should implement anti-fraud solutions to stop any revenue leakages and eliminate the gray termination so that customer satisfaction will be the more or at the highest level. GTS has already taken the initiative in this, and we have developed our in-house solution called Armor, which is anti-fraud voice and SMS firewall. We have already implemented this with government operators in Malawi and Angola. And as Ehsan also mentioned rightly, that security of the data is very much prime most factor for this. There are different forums also, like RAG, Revenue Assurance Group, or the GLF, who are actively working on No Against Fraud, and GT is also part of this group. In fact, MEF has also taken a good initiative by creating the awareness and showcasing the need for change to the wholesale world. So I'll say, yeah, the end user customer is experiencing the paramount for entire ecosystem, entire communication ecosystem. So that is how we should take it up with the MNOs.
Thank you, Pallavi. And you'd miss it otherwise, unsurprisingly.
Thank you for the formalities there, James.
5:01:30, go for it. We're
Right,
a bit late,
so
no problem.
We're the Mobile Ecosystem Forum here, and it's an ecosystem. And at the foundation of everything that happens within this ecosystem, wholesalers reside to so many services. 8 out of 10 digital minutes reside on the mobile phone. The average consumer touches their mobile device 2,600 times a day. It's a personal gateway to friends, entertainment, services, but all of that collapses if you don't have trust. And it's on the wholesalers to drive trust in performance and security, to keep this hygienic as possible, whereby consumers are happy to continue to work in this environment and value can be unlocked. The anti-fraud programs, the trusted in business messaging code of conduct are such directives that really help to focus on being at the base of everything else, trust, security, and with that, all the values can go on top of this foundation. The second thing that I think that wholesalers can do to really drive customer experience is take complexity and provide simplicity. We work with companies like Hilton, HSBC, Williams-Sonoma, and one of the most common barriers that we see when they look to execute mobile programs is regulation, the pricing, what codes do they need? What's the ROI? What's the channel adoption? What are the local behaviors? All of this is a myriad of confusion where the wholesale environment can take all of that, be the expert. We've got thought experts here on the panel and across the rest of the mobile ecosystem forum, and provide all of this complexity and make it consumable and easy for them to digest, to actually operate content and their value with their customers. The final thing I say is that this is going to continue to grow in terms of the OTT channels as they mature, and the job of the wholesaler is going to become ever so more important as each of these will have their own nuances.
Game over, game over.
Not a problem. I don't think it'll matter.
No, but you got the last point in. Game over there. But no, very, very, very good. Very, very good, I must say. I really enjoyed all your answers actually on that last one in particular. I'm not meant to have an opinion. I'm a moderator, but I'm a bad moderator. I like the answers to that Q4, particularly that security, quality, and whatever, speed. Very nice. Anyway, it's not up to me. It's up to the audience. We have the 60 seconds on the clock. We have the poll open. Off we go. So yeah, thank you for allowing me for the plug for that event. But actually, you mentioned RAG, Pallavi, RAG, the Risk and Assurance Group, and Dario, MEF CEO, MEF boss. He's actually speaking at the RAG meeting, the first in-person meeting at the Skyline. I think it's the Skyline Sheraton Hotel at Heathrow Airport. So in London on Friday, 11:20, talking about security. And guess what channel? Any ideas? SMS. So, yeah. So Dario will be there at the RAG meeting on Friday talking about that. So RAG. So no, good to see you involved in that as well.
Yeah.
Great. So we've just got 17 seconds. Count it down, and then we're nearly
this is the last event, James, right? Like this is the last event for MEF Connect now, right?
No, we've got the omni-channel event, as I said. So the last event before the omni-channel event on November the 30th. Yeah.
Yeah,
correct.
But for this session, yeah, this should be the last,
it is. Next up, we've just got Dario bringing the event to a close. So yes, this is it. So you kindly all ended the event for us in a very, very nice, fun way. Anyway, I await the results. Now, I'm not a betting man, but oh, it's here already. Yeah, there we go. So we have 2 people with 1 point. Would 2 people like to stick their hands up to work out who those might be? it's not you, Andy. Ehsan, yes. So that means by elimination. Oh, sorry, I can't see because of the other window I've got open. Yeah, sorry, Uku. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Ehsan and Uku on 1 point here. And then, let me think, Andy Gladwin, 2 points. And guess who? With 4 points. So let me just do my basic maths here. 4, 5. Okay. So in fourth place today, we have Mr. Ehsan Ahmadi. Ehsan, thank you for joining us. Thank you. It's a tough one. It really is, because it's not to do with necessarily the quality of your individual answers. It's the audience, whatever the audience feel at that point in time. But no, great job. And as I said, I really like that whole security, quality, speed answer personally. And in third place, we have Mr. Andy Gladwin. Congratulations, third place. Second place, we have Uku from Estonia. But a round of applause. Pallavi, well done.
Thank you.
You are the winner of this edition of the jury, and this is their final edition of the jury at MEF Connects Wholesale 2021. Thank you, all four of you, for being such amazing, great sports. I think the topics we covered off, again, like yesterday's, are very, very serious. And they really, really help bring together and round off the topics of this wholesale event, which have been very, very wide-ranging. So, Andy Gladwin, hopefully I look forward to seeing you in person in London at the end of November, if not before. The same goes for you, Ehsan, but we're going to be together on a live webinar talking about your favorite subject at the end of next month. Pallavi, lovely seeing you. And as always, thanks to GTS for your great involvement within MEF. And Uku, lovely seeing you. Likewise to you and Messente. I look forward to hopefully meeting you and Daniela and your team in person very soon. And that's it from me, James Williams, Director of Programs with MEF. Thank you very much indeed for watching MEF Connects Wholesale 2021. We now have Dario, the CEO of MEF, coming up to round off the event with an event summary. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Well done. And well done to Pallavi. I think I kept on saying, it was so jealous. That's all of it is.
Thanks, Dario.
Thanks to all of you for joining.
Bye.
And having some fun.